All right, recording, saving.
What is your job? Why do you do your job?
I'm a scientist. Scientists explore nature, look for the unknowns. There are so many unknowns, so many things we don't know about nature. And the more we learn about nature, the more we uncover these secrets, the more we can learn those knowledge for better life for human being on this planet. So scientists basically remove barriers between humans and nature one at a time. Every time you hear someone getting a Nobel Prize, every time you hear someone making a discovery, a finding, a new paper, a new book, it's because someone has made a new discovery, learned something new about nature, something we didn't know. And those unknowns eventually had made life. Think about how much we have come from 10,000 years ago, from 1,000 years ago, from 100 years ago. So life has changed, and all those changes are because we learn more about the secrets of nature. And it's the job of scientists to learn about those secrets and make living better on this planet as a result.
What is the biggest unknown that you want to uncover?
Well, my job specifically in the world of science, I'm a physicist. So there are so many unknowns in chemistry, in biology, in medicine, physics, economy. And in physics, physicists work on using the laws of physics in discovering the unknown. I'm in a very specific area of physics, the application of physics in medicine. And I use magnetic resonance imaging, which is a technique, it's a way of looking into the body and seeing how the body works. I'm specifically interested in the brain. So I use magnetic resonance to see how the brain works and use magnetic resonance, making these MRI machines that we use for understanding of the brain, for looking into the brain, more and more powerful. So we have developed these more and more powerful machines, more and more powerful MRI machines, more powerful magnets to look deeper and deeper into smaller and smaller structures and smaller functions in the brain. And that is my contribution. I was a part of a team who built the most powerful MRI scanner in the world some 20 years ago, and those scanners are now making huge discoveries, and eventually they're going to help us understand how the human brain structure is and how it functions, and all of this will help us to unravel this last frontier, which is the human brain.
What skills do you value?
Well, obviously the skills that can solve problems. If you identify problems, whether these problems are scientific, environmental, economical, emotional, and cultural, every time there is a problem, it means it causes pain and suffering for humanity and for human beings. And I value skills that humans can develop. I believe that every human being has a potential, which means a secret capability in them, that if they work on it and if they use the proper tools and proper time efficiently and productively and systematically, they can turn those hidden potentials into skills. Right now, a teenager might not be able to operate on somebody's brain, but if he dedicates himself to the study of medicine and neurosurgery, eventually he would be able to open someone's brain and remove a tumor and save life. So that potential for that skill was always in that person, in that young man, and an ability to focus on your internal capabilities of developing skills and promoting your potentials into skills is something that I really, really value, and I think it can benefit everyone.
Leah, when I give you the signal, that means next question.
I'm just going to say it.
Okay, no, I know, I'm just telling you this is the signal. We need the signal.
Do you have a philosophy, mantra, or belief you live by? Why do you believe in it?
Yes, I do have a philosophy. If I had to put my philosophy and mantra in one line, that will probably be seek knowledge from cradle to grave. I think we should be able to pursue acquisition of knowledge and learning more and more, because that's really what sets us apart from other forms of life on this planet, from animals, from plants, and from bugs and vermins, and that's humans are capable of actually acquiring knowledge and gaining understanding about their surroundings. So I would say that my biggest mantra and motto in life is acquiring knowledge all time, at all time, from the time you know yourself and from the time you can walk and read and understand your environment to the time you're ready to leave this world. That entire time you should read from cradle to grave. You should really seek knowledge. That's my mantra.
What is your view on your personal life?
Your personal life is part of your life. So in your life you have part of it which is private. The time you spend with your family, with your friends. You socialize with them, and a part of life that is professional, and you spend basically outside your home. Your personal life, while it has to provide you some degree of privacy in which you seek comfort and pleasure and the happiness of the companionship of people you love, and they are your family members. But at the same time, it's also an inseparable part of your entire life. So you cannot have a personal life that is in conflict and contradiction with the rest of your life, with your public life. So your private life and your personal life and your public life, while there is a certain degree of insulation between them, but there is also a relationship between your... for instance, scientists, they bring their works home, and the way they see the world will affect their family members. In my specific case, my son, John, has been highly, I'm sure he's been affected by the way I see the world, by my perspective to life. And I think the love of knowledge and love of science in him is partly because my personal life was kind of affected by my public life. And that is it's important for you to keep the balance, to understand where your personal life is private and what from your public life can actually come back into personal life, and vice versa. How your public and personal life constantly are exchanging information, and they can enrich each other.
Are you pleased that your public life helped your son in education?
Yes, it just so happened that I was fortunate enough that my public life, my professional life, gave me skills and perspective to life that I could bring home, and I could discuss it with my family members at home, including my son. And from the time he was very little, those discussions affected him. He affected the movies he watched, affected the way he interacted with his peers, and it affected the way he communicated with me and his mother, and all of that slowly and day by day and hour by hour and week by week formed his character, and his character eventually developed his love for his interests in life. And it just so happened that his interests are music, science, and sport, and he's interested in medicine, which is very much related to my profession. So it's not really coincidental that he's pursuing a life very similar to mine.
What drives you?
What drives me is, I think it's a mission that I believe humans have on Earth, in this world. I think humans, because of their capabilities, that's vastly more than all the other forms of life, we have a responsibility. With these capabilities that humans have comes a responsibility. And that responsibility is to learn everything you can, turn it into skill, and make that skill available for the humanity at large. Because there is a lot of pain and suffering in the world. And the way we can really address and diminish and minimize and eventually eliminate pain and suffering is by participating, in the process of elimination of this pain and suffering. So diseases, inequalities, suffrages that people suffer from, the lack of democracy in some countries, environmental disasters, natural disasters, and diseases. These are all sources of suffering, and that drives me. My ability to see these things and my ability to contribute to bringing solutions to these problems is my main drive for life.
What do you love, are passionate about, or have great joy in doing?
I love human beings. I love other people. I enjoy the company of other people. I love to spend time with others. I love to interact with others. I love learning about other people's point of view. And I love to contribute. I love to exchange knowledge and exchange information with others in cultural settings, in social settings, in scientific settings, in very private personal settings, I love to be a part of humanity at large.
Could you say and describe the Persian saying, "What shakes your seat sets"? Okay.
What shakes you sets your value.
What shakes you sets your value. How does that relate and apply to you?
Yes, this is a verse from a.
Can you repeat the verse?
Yes, what shakes you sets your value. Yes, this is a verse of a poem, a very important poem, very nice poem by Rumi. And what shakes you sets your value means the things you're interested in life are the things that represent you, represent your personality, tells others who you are, and eventually tells you who you are and what you stand for. And if, for instance, if you care about, you're starting from small circle of your family and your neighborhood and your town and country and humanity at large, depending on what scale you're engaged with life and what issues you're sensitive about. You don't have to be sensitive about the plight of the people in Syria. There is something horrible, a human disaster unfolding in Syria. A lot of people are killing each other. There's a lot of conflict all around the world. Syria is just one of the, very sad and very tragic story that's ongoing right now in the Middle East. But if you care about these issues, so if you show sensitivity and caring about the problems that are important to you, there's so many problems in life: cancer, the political problems, cultural problems, economic problems. The ones that come to surface for you, the ones that you spend time to learn about, read about, and eventually become part of the solution to those problems, they determine the kind of person you are. So that's what it means when Rumi says, what shakes you sets your value.
What type of lifestyle do you live?
I live a very simple lifestyle. My lifestyle is basically made of my family and my work. I live with my son, who spend most of the time that I'm away from work with him, and then when I'm not at home, I'm at work. So my life is very simple. It's not really much complications and complexity to my life. I try to keep it simple so that I can apply my resources, my meager resources, to the problems I tremendously care about, to be able to be a part of the solution to maybe one problem of humanity.
What are some of the fruits that your beliefs, growth, drive, and lifestyle have given you?
I think the fruits of my slogan and my motto and my principle, the principles that I inherited from my culture, from my father, from my family, and eventually, when I grew up and I expanded those principles to go across boundaries, nations, cultures. Those principles, I learned that they are good principles to abide by, to live by, and I learned that those very simple principles of caring for humanity and bringing solutions to the secrets of nature and uncovering the secrets of nature, those are worthy aims and objectives in life to pursue, and those have become pillars of my personality and my drive to life.
And what are the physical manifestations of that? Like whether it be a construction project you completed, or something at your house, or something that growth in your son. What are physical manifestations